Willie D Live.
So I was like, wow, that was a situation. I saw it again when a brother wanted to divorce his wife. And he said all the reasons. Went around, got to this brother, and he said, how much sadaqah do you do, brother? Which is charity. And he said, do you understand what sadaqah is? He's like, yeah, the giving of this. He said, nah. Sadaqah is salam alaikum. Sadaqah is me setting your meal out. Sadaqah is me doing this. He say, you are upset about something because you don't appreciate the sadaqah that's being done for you.
Service.
The service. And it just would blow my mind when I would look and say, man, these things you take counsel on. Take counsel, and we kind of do it as normal human being, like me and you situation. You gave me counsel on the situation, and I spoke to some other people, and the what you poured into me versus, man, this is really not worth it. It wasn't just it's not worth it. It's a higher step than it's not worth it. You giving more, putting more meat on the bone than just a blanket, man, that's not worth it. But these are the points of why it's not worth it. Now, it's your decision.
Right.
It's your decision. But these are the valid points that you cannot deny. Now, if you going past this, you're choosing to not use your intelligence now. And that's a different level of counseling and consideration for somebody. And you do that with people who have your best interest at hand. Like, man, bro, if I didn't have, I'm telling you I understand, but this is what's best in this situation. That's different. And if men do that with each other, we make less missteps and mistakes when you take real counsel. Because when I come, I'm literally pouring my cup out. I ain't nothing in my cup, man. Man? Tell me, because I'm at a loss on this one, and that's being humble. That's having humility with pride. You know, I'm a proud person, proud of myself, but I can humble myself to the information. I can humble myself to what's best. I can humble myself past what my ego may be saying. And that's what they call jihad al-nafs. The greatest jihad is jihad of desire. Man, what are you feeding by doing this? Your ego? And sometimes your friends can make you seem, what my boy say, with your want to go to jail ass. That's the thing. I had a friend from DC. I was mad about something. This maybe about 20 years ago. I was mad about something. And for a woman to say this to me, she said, damn, you mad for free? And I said, what? Yeah, you mad for free. And I thought about that. I was like, damn. And just watch how this makes sense. As a boxer, you a fighter, I'm a fighter. That's being mad for money. That's getting yourself mad for money. Because you going to be mad when you go in there that you finna whoop somebody for money. You finna do that for free? What's the cash out on that? And I was like, damn, you ain't never lying. So when I talk to kids at school, at these schools, and I be like, so let me get this straight. You in this alternative school because you was fighting? Wow. Crazy to me. Mad for free? These people get paid millions of dollars, thousands of dollars to do that for money. And here you are in alternative school, mad for free. And some of these little boys get it. They like, because what did you get out of that besides being in this alternative school?
Yeah, it got to be broken down because, growing up, I used to hear people say all the time, you can be anything you want to be in the world. You can be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you can be a scientist, but, you got to go to school, make good grades, listen to your parents. But they didn't break it down like they didn't say, hey, well, what if your parents are crackheads? You know what I'm saying? You don't really want to listen to your parents because your parents ain't making the best decisions if they're crackheads. They don't break down that you should not steal out the store if you want to be the president of the United States. You shouldn't be stealing and robbing folks. You really got to break stuff all the way down to the last compound for people to really understand, because nobody ever told me you can't be beating up your classmates because these are going to be your first constituents. These are going to be the first people that vote for you. They start out voting for you when you run for things like class president or student body count or whatever that is, whatever those things are. Those people are going to be the people, they're going to be the first people that vote for you. The people that you go to school with, the people that are in your community, those are going to be your first supporters. And so they're not going to pick somebody to lead who they're afraid who gave them a black eye. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so nobody ever told me all of those other things. They just told me, well, you just go to school, make good grades, listen to your parents,
Did you know you wanted to be in politics? Did you know that you wanted constituents? But somebody told you to treat people kind.
Right. But it's got to be broken. But I think it has to be broken down, and that's what I learned to do. Like what you did with those students at that alternative school. I did the same thing when I went to alternative schools in the past. I haven't been in a while, but I've learned to break it down because it needed to be broken down to me, and it wasn't. So I understood that because it wasn't, I got into a lot of trouble. But if it had been broken down to me, perhaps I would have saw some things differently. What are some things? Is there a thing in your past that you considered to be a failure at the time, but now you look back and you consider it a blessing?
Oh yeah. Oh man, how many things? It's been times that I didn't get something and not realizing at the time that it wasn't for me. I wanted it so bad, but it really wasn't for me. I was conforming to I was looking at somebody else's success thinking that's how you do it. But it wasn't for me. Like, say, going to a network. I used to want a Netflix special. I used to want HBO special. I used to want Showtime special. I used to want all that. And then I got a Comedy Central special. And what happened? Get the Comedy Central special, not really realizing that Comedy Central is not a comedy haven anymore. It's a comedy network. They got all type of programming going on. So I shoot the Comedy Central special, and then they air it one time because of their programming. How do I get to the next level when you only aired it one time? When HBO was airing People's Special on all 8 of their networks for hours and days and weeks, it was only one isolated moment, and if you didn't catch it at 11:59 at night,
PM, yeah.
so they could for it to be on LA time. How does that work out for me? But I'm thinking being on a network is the gold. No. So then after that, I understood a little bit that you want more exposure than one time. And you need more exposure than one time.
Well, you can get that on Netflix. Let me ask you this.
Netflix wasn't around, but then the other thing is Netflix has so many things on there. They have so much programming on there. They have a comedy section, a drama section, TV section. Now, that doesn't come with marketing besides on their network.
Just putting it up on the screen.
Yeah. So, and it's so many analytics to their situation, and then they own it.
What would it take, and I'm not saying that you're even interested, but what would it take for Netflix to do a deal with you, for you to do a deal with Netflix, where they would air your comedy special?
I would have to shoot it, and they would have to license it for a short amount of time to run it on their network.
Yeah, because you'd have to shoot it, because if they shoot it, they own it.
They own it, yeah.
But if you shoot it, you would license it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they have other licensing deals.
They're not good.
They may not have that type of situation with comedy yet, but I'm sure they have licensing deals out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it would be like a new thing for them to do that. But sometimes I notice that networks, depending on who you are and all of that type of stuff, in their mind, yeah, we know who you are, we know you're good, we know you got it, but we don't want to give it to you. We don't want to give you that type of deal.
They don't want to give it to me, which I don't particularly need it. Get that slot to somebody else. I'm cool. And that's how I feel, because
but if
I'm gonna be a rival to them with the production of what I'm going to do with my friends, because it's a whole group of individuals that Netflix will never look at. That's excellent for whatever reason. So I can be that safe haven for them to come to, and then they can own a special in 2 to 3 years.
And here's the thing too, like there was a time when you could watch Comedy Central and it was really, really good comedy if you was on there. Mm-hmm. And, you had a special on Comedy Central. It was really good. And then, like you say, they became everything to all men. Mm-hmm. And, it just got really, really bad. And I see the same thing happening with Netflix. There are a lot of comedy specials on Netflix that are straight trash, and I love comedy. So I will give anybody a chance. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if I've never seen you before. I will stop, and I'm like listening because I want it to be funny, because I like funny. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that stuff is trash. Like, and I will go as far as saying most of it. Most of the comedy specials on Netflix are trash. And that's coming from a guy who loves comedy and who wants the comedy to be funny. And not just most of it, but even most of the known, established, veteran comedians' Netflix specials are trash. Mm-hmm. They're just not good. They've been better stand-up, doing live stand-up. They're better. But it's something about being filmed and having your special being filmed. You would think that, man, I'm finally here. I got it. And the world is watching. I'm finna bring everything I got. And you'd be like, wah, wah, wah.
The difference is, with the guys who I'm going to produce, I care about comedy. I care about the aesthetics. I care about how it looks. I care about how it sounds. I care about the material. I care about the message. And it would be a lot of steps back for me to be on somebody's network that's has a lot of trash on it.